Hello, my dear friends. I want to watch one video and want to try to give it to you some example what I want to say. I have to turn some things up, so excuse me for a bit. Oh yeah. So here a video. Let's make it more clear. I actually doesn't know how it's going to be at the level of sound, so let me give a little boost to the sound, and I hope it won't be bad. So let's get.
You're gonna be treated as a threat.
I'll give an example.
I'm not talking about you.
I'll give
I
you.
don't give a shit about you. I'm not even talking about the US.
I can tell you what.
I don't give a shit about your reactionary ass. You cannot have housing for all I care. In fact, under the dictatorship of the proletariat, what you will have is housing in a jail cell. What you will have is housing.
The group is pushing for, and I would assume, though I can't be certain, that they are part of Revcom, as Revcom is the largest communist group that actually pushes Maoism. The majority of people pushing communism in those kind of circles usually are Leninism, Trotskyism, or what's the other one? Oh, democratic socialism. That's right.
My darling, democratic socialism is not a socialism at all. It's capitalism. It's a form of capitalism. When everything working by capitalistic measures with capitalistic system, and only thing that changed is that most of the money is taxed by the government and going back to the people. Democratic socialism, it's capitalism. It's not even socialism. But let's go on. I didn't watch the whole video, but I will try to refer to it as it goes. I don't know what she's going to talk about.
Okay, as we know, there are so many flavors of socialism and communism.
Once again, darling, there is no flavors in socialism and communism. There is many adaptation to make communism work, because socialism is like middle ground between communism, capitalism, and communism. And Maoism, Leninism, Stalinism, I don't know, Trotskyism is not, but there is Bolivarianism, sorry. It's adaptations. There is theory that said that after capitalism will happen socialism, and after socialism, when we build it, will be communism. It's a theory. To make it work, you need to adapt it to the people, present it to the people right way, not ideological like USA doing, but present to people, make it work. It's like, I don't know, software. Socialism, it's just hardware, and you need some software to make it work with reality, because until this day I don't really see real working socialistic system, except maybe for Cuba, but I know nothing about Cuba, so I wouldn't say. So let's go on.
And I started questioning what flavor is being pushed by the United Nations.
Is to induce the gradual surrender of American sovereignty, piece by piece and step by step, to various international organizations, of which the United Nations is the outstanding but far from the only example.
I want to read.
once again, darling, United Nations is nothing but a lapdog for United States of America, which control whole world. And you must understand that United Nations is capitalistic tool to install capitalism and make it work in our world. And say that socialism is being pushed by rich guys, capitalists, literally capitalists, because United Nations is nothing but capitalistic tool to install the control of United States in the whole world and the United States financial system in the whole world. And even IMF is just a tool. The European Bank is just a tool for Federal Reserve System to provide through it control of petrodollar. So you even to put it this way that United Nations for 70 years was pushed socialism onto people. It's stupid as I don't understand how do you even can say such things, because you must understand that United Nations is a capitalistic tool to gain control over the people, and claiming that United Nations have some agenda socialistic, or I don't know, when in reality United Nations go in there where USA already messed everything up. They destroy everything, and USA troops destroy everything. Then came UN and jackals is taking the dead meat and clear things up. In general, it's not perfect example, but in general. And to say that United Nations have more power than American government, it's just simply stupid. Because all propaganda, all socialistic propaganda, all modern liberal propaganda was created by United States government and United States intelligence services. Come on, wake up. What the fuck are you talking about?
To you a flavor of communism from a piece of a manifesto, and I want you to attempt to guess which flavor it is. Quote, politically aims to disseminate, educate, nurture, orient political principles, strategic and tactical, the approach to people's war of the party, the party's economic approach, the party's socio-cultural approach, and the party's foreign policy goals through concrete execution and with experience of building the force of revolutionary young men and women. Mentally aims to disseminate, construct, nurture a revolutionary consciousness such as class consciousness, class struggle, division into classes so that our youth have a proper class philosophy, a spirit of serving the nation and people, especially the people of the base areas, high spirit of collectivity, ridding oneself of individual interests in favor of the whole.
Yes, so what you're trying to say here, it's United Nations, goal to create the whole world from the communistic perspective. Do you understand that United Nations, that it's control of chosen, or even not chosen, but chosen by governments, people? It means that elected people by the governments, not by the people. When in communism, you have to understand that it's certain communes come together as some area that governed. In socialism, you have one government over big society. It doesn't matter of what agenda you put on people at all. Socialism is not about that at all. What the fuck are you talking about?
In all, That is the aim of building reflexes of our youth toward the overall goal, the overall good, and increasing their understanding and desire for manual activities. That is to say, changing their old worldview progressively and causing the adoption of a new, revolutionary worldview as the replacement. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more of this particular form of communism immediately banned private property. Yes. City dwellers were moved to farming communes, as it was noted that tribes of the oldest order were self-sufficient and above all lived on the goods that they produced together. Everyone shared in the work together and everyone shared the spoils of such labor. They were also held in high regard because they were untainted by the evils of money, wealth, and religion.
I don't understand what you're trying to apply here. That it's bad when you helping each other, or I don't know, something like. I don't know what she's going to say after, but it's too long video. Maybe there will be something interesting. Let's see. But darling, you have to understand, socialism coming to life only when capitalism already failing. Why there is request for socialism in the society? Because capitalism already failing. What the hell are you talking about? It's not ideology. It's simple follow-up. Just as capitalism came after feudalism, socialism came after capitalism. It's developing economy, let's say, or evolutionary economy. Just as from feudalism, people evolutionate, I guess, into capitalism. So there, in theory, once again, people should evolutionate from capitalism when it fails, and it eventually will, because it already failed. When it will fail, we should build socialism. Society where... I'm sorry, I need to get rid of this. Yes, that's better. So, once again, this is not ideology. Stop thinking that Maoism, Leninism, I don't know, Marxism, Trotskyism. No, Marxism is just theory. Leninism, Maoism, or some other ism. It's I don't know, some kind of ideology that pushed on you. No, socialism is about educating people. Education, that's the only goal of such systems. People are stupid, after all. Look at you. People are stupid in general, and the goal of socialism is to educate people, so they become like conscious and transfer towards the system that benefit them most. Like 95% of population will benefit from the system, because right now the system benefit only 1% or 5% of people who surrounds the 1%. That's the point of socialism. That's why capitalism will fail, because it no more benefit 95% of the people. Just as it was in Russian Empire, 85 to 90% of the people was in huge struggle for the moment, and they simply wiped out the whole how it's said, they wiped out previous system and installed the new one that benefit them most. Just as it's going to happen right now, because capitalism could not grow any longer, it could not evolve any longer, it could not develop any longer. That's the sorry. That's not the point of ideology. The only ideology here is democracy. Democracy is pushed on you that is you're free, that you can do all you want, that you can, I don't know, compete, and capitalism will back you up, or something along those lines, that your vote have some meaning or value or something along those lines. The socialism itself doesn't say that its ideology, its economical basement, or not basement, basis, its economical base for the new developing relationships between people, when people really in control, when people own everything, etc., etc. There is no flavors, there's different adaptations. How you can implement socialism in the real life? How can it will how it will work, I guess. Once again, socialism is a hardware. Leninism, Stalinism, Maoism, etc. It's a software. It's how you interact with the system. It's how you explain people how to interact with the system, how to benefit from it, how it will benefit you, etc. Just as it was with capitalism. I don't know, but people have to be conscious, and therefore education is the key in here. Yeah, not in your case. So let's continue.
Whose flavor was it?
They kill administrators, soldiers, teachers, anyone they consider elite immediately on the spot and turn everyone else into a countryside peasant within hours. The government decided that education was unnecessary. After all, everything you needed to know in life you could learn working in a rice field. They killed people who wore glasses simply because they seemed elitist. They started to turn all the schools into prisons and work camps, like the infamous S21 here in Phnom Penh. Once a high school, it was quickly turned into the most infamous prison in the Khmer Rouge regime. 99% plus death rates of prisoners. It didn't matter your age, your gender, your creed, your position in the party. If you entered the walls of that prison, you would eventually end up here, in the killing fields just outside town. The Khmer Rouge believed that they were making a perfect society. In their eyes, they would change everything until all people were the same. Not equal, but the same thoughts, the same ideas, the same life, the same experiences. An impossible ideal, but
what are you trying to imply here? That some dude, like religious dude, like crazy dude, want to make all people equal? It's a stupid idea from the beginning. No communist ever will imply this. And you don't need to give example of idiots to say that communism is bad. It's a stupid idea from the beginning. If some group of people trying to force something on you, therefore they simply oppressive regime. They are not communists, they are not socialists, no matter how they call themselves, because North Korea, it's dictatorship and military dictatorship, more of that. It's not socialism. At least for now, until people own everything. If the government own everything and government force people to work, it means it's capitalistic military dictatorship, nothing else. What you're trying to imply here, let's listen.
they were willing to kill for it.
That is right. Pol Pot's vision of communism. What you need to know is that he was only in power for 4 years, yet killed 1.7 to 2.2 million, nearly 1/4 of his population.
this guy was right, only he was crazy. And the fact that he called himself a communist but make stuff with dictatorship measures, once again saying that he was wrong and he was a dictator. Pol Pot is in no way a communist. It's have nothing to do with communism. He tried to do something and he doesn't achieve the goal. How it connected to communism itself, who knows? Because the guy called himself communist, so what?
Now, people like those that I showed at the very beginning like to talk about revisionism in history. They lie, they skew. This is how the game works. So they'll say that what I'm saying right now is just propaganda. So,
yeah, the guy was in charge only 4 years, when in USSR, or for example China, you can easily look at China, you can easily look at history of USSR, Cuba, very successful. You given the examples that fits into your worldview, how you see it, how you perceive this. Pol Pot is military dictator, another military dictator who came to power and do wrong stuff. Communism, it's rule of the commune. Many communes. When dictator ruling everything and saying how you're supposed to live, it's not communism, it's simple military dictatorship. At least to talk about the question, you have to understand what you're talking about, because you're trying to imply that this crazy guy understands something wrong and trying to force his vision, and he failed. He failed. Yes, what does it have to do with communism? Who knows? Once again, because...
what I want to do is I want to insert a clip of somebody who actually escaped the Khmer Rouge. Insert a survivor of communism.
The more you step, lost your faculty of reasoning.
And result. And it always ends in totalism and totalitarianism.
No, USSR ended with capitalism. For example, just an example. USSR ended with capitalism. So how you can say that? No. Half of Europe ended with capitalism. How the capitalism benefit modern countries like, I don't know, Romania, Moldavia, Ukraine, Russia, Baltic countries, what else? Ex-Yugoslavia. How the capitalism benefit right now for those countries?
And it ends with the individual spirit being crushed.
No, it's not. What the fuck are you talking about? Military dictatorship ending with personality being crushed. Military fucking dictatorship. Not socialism. At least socialism. Because who knows how capitalism going to play out. I lived in USSR and I perfectly understand that it's total bullshit what you're trying to imply here. Okay? This is bullshit. You're trying to give a small example of failed dictator that claim he is communist and trying to say that everybody will work like this. When in reality you have successful country right over there, the China. I don't know, I was in China, I didn't see people like oppressed or lost their personality. I saw a guy with fucking painted nails. It's disgusting. Yet, it's personal freedom, isn't it? To paint your fucking nails in different colors. Isn't it how personal freedom is looking? Isn't it when you can talk about almost everything? I don't know what you're trying to imply here. I know. You're trying to say that Pol Pot was bad and therefore everybody is bad.
You have to abide by the party's line, even if you know it is wrong.
No, you don't. Look at China population. How many people not in the party? Look at USSR. It was absolutely doesn't matter if you are member of the party or not. Many successful people was not party members. You do not have to be in line with the party. In dictatorship, you do have to be in line with your dictator or dictators, to be fair, because no dictator ever have gained control on his own without military generals or I don't know. You're trying to imply here that dictatorship, military dictatorship, it's the same as communism, when in reality, who knows what the hell is communism because it never happened, and I don't know how people will even achieve it. You have to understand that communism is nothing but economical basis, economical relationships between people and enterprises. That's it. Commune produce, commune govern, commune decide what to do and how to do. Communism. Socialism, it's when all means of productions belong to the people. Do you see in Pol Pot case that communes decide where to go? No. Where do you see in Pol Pot case that everybody, like people of the country, own all means of production? Once again, no. So why are you trying to imply that it's some form of communism? Yes, the guy was crazy. The guy was wrong. The guy did bad. But somehow you ignore the fact that pretty much in the same time in Vietnam, United States of America, without any reason, without any idea, who knows why, destroyed, I don't know, millions of Vietnam people for no reason at all. In the same time, just across the border, somewhere over there. So I don't understand what you're trying to imply here. Your agenda is totally false or lie, or you don't understand. You don't understand apparently, but whatever.
Sadly, right now the United Nations is pushing for global socialism. And the type of global socialism, neo-feudalism, communism, whatever you want to call it, centers on consumption of resources, right? Save the planet.
No. Consumption of resources mean that capitalistic enterprises produce goods, giving loans for the government, give loans for the people through the banking system, and you consume these goods. That's how capitalism pretty much works. Only there in capitalism, you live in United States or Europe or Japan or Australia and you consume goods which produced by poor people in Asia, Mexico, Latin America, Africa, somewhere over there, which China trying to achieve right now by taking control over Africa and produce cheap goods there and allow people in China consume. China going capitalistic way for many years already. No one cares what United Nations want. No one listens to United Nations. United Nations without support of US troops mean absolutely zero. Until consensus is there and many nations agree, there is United Nations and people can decide some problems, help somebody or clean the mess that United States create somewhere or something along those lines. But on its own, United Nations mean absolutely nothing. You're trying to imply here that some group of people, United Nations, because not all nations have vote, not all nations have to decide or something along those lines. United Nations is a group of people that decide everything. It's not. It's idiotism. You have to understand that it's idiotism what you're talking.
Just like Pol Pot's version.
What do you mean just like Pol Pot version? Have you watched recently news? There is urbanization happening in the world and all governments are okay with that. When Pol Pot wanted de-urbanize his country. I'm sorry, it's very funny that you saying it's the same that Pol Pot do when it's exact vice versa.
And what I find frightening is there is a report that's written by Rita Radi and Anika Carlson Kanyama titled, quote, Comparing Energy Use by Gender, Age, and Income in Some European Countries. The globe is dying, according to the UN. And who is killing it? Who is killing Mother Earth? Well, according to that study, it's men, those born before 1978, and those who make money. Basically, men of the Western world.
I'm sorry, why are you even surprised about this? Most successful people on the planet, it's men. Men control corporations. Corporations produce toxic waste, they control garbage. They send garbage to the sea, to the rivers, to Asia for storage, where it once again going to the sea or how it's said. Okay, and it's stored there and it's contaminate nature, etc. It's logical. Like said, I don't understand the idea behind this report, but come on, this person is right. What you trying to imply here once again?
And actually that starts to explain a lot. It helps me personally to better understand why certain men have become enemy number one and why it's okay to blatant white male racism.
Let's say, to be fair, most of those men is supposed to be Asian and Indian in some cases. Yes, most of this consumed, produced for white men. It's logical. Can you understand this, that there is logic behind this? most, let me claim here, Earth is not dying, of course, in any way. I don't understand why this report is even in place. It's totally stupid. It have nothing to do with socialism. It have nothing to do with communism, as I explained. Yet I don't even understand why this report is in place. But you have to understand that it's have common, it's have basic logics behind it.
It's scary, people. It really is scary. And though many will not learn what they are taught, I would like to share more of these stories of survivors of socialism. For now, if you get a chance, check out Victor.
Darling, once again, you give example of survivor of dictatorship. Why it's not Stroessner or Pinochet? Why not? I don't know. Name any other dictator. Why not there? Why it's important for you to find example that fits into your worldview and give it to the people just as it's the one and only truth because I know and you don't. You stupid and I'm very smart. You know nothing about socialism, as we clearly see. You know nothing about communism, as we clearly see. Why are you trying to falsely accuse people of things they never done? Why you bring up here report of neoliberal people who in their essence capitalists, neoliberals and liberals, they all capitalists in their nature. They working to destroy the biblical values, the moral values. So afterwards you can infringe any biblical amendments. It's capitalistic, liberal agenda, and you're trying to imply that it's socialism because, well, who knows why? I understand that Western world people do not have access to like real information. They presented what they presented with and they believe it since 1950s. Still, since McCarthy started to lie and you idiots still believe in the bullshit he put on. And afterwards, the American government created a lot of propaganda on this case, but history say it's otherwise. USSR was a successful country, and it moved towards the capitalism. Does it move towards tyranny? No. Putin is not military tyrant. You can be only military tyrant because there's no other tyranny. So does the China move towards totalitarian society? Again, no. Yes, in China people under control, and I totally understand why. You apparently doesn't, but whatever. It's not totalitarian society, as I said. Many Chinese people live in my city and work in my city, and every Chinese New Year they going home in totalitarian, awful society who wants to kill them all. Really, like, I don't know, tens of thousands of people can simply stay in Russia or move to other country. There's no problem with this. Totalitarian doesn't work this way. USSR wasn't a totalitarian society at all. There was no repressions. The only repressions happened in USSR, it was by mistake. By a huge mistake. Come on. It's a new way of economical and governing relationships between people was put in place. No one ever tried before. Yeah, sadly, some people die. Of course, it's not 100 millions. And to claim that there was more victims than it was in reality, and to forget Vietnam that was destroyed by United States and put in place Pol Pot, as he was Cambodia. Who even care about Cambodia? Oh my god. No one care about Cambodia. Just around the corner, Vietnam happens. The same amount of victims. Let's say that United States is always leading to tyranny. Actually, it does, but okay, let's come another way. Why you don't saying that United States politics is bad? Why you pick and choose once again? If it fits your worldview, oh yeah, let's banish it, let's claim that it's bad, let's say that's survivor, etc., etc. But when literally around the corner was killed even more people was suffered or was killed directly in Vietnam because of United States actions. No, that doesn't matter. Let's forget about it. Very convenient.